Would you love to learn from a pro how to make a house a home?
Let's find out.
We have Amy Pottenger, owner and interior designer at Refresh Design, here with us this morning. Good morning,
Hi,
Amy.
Amy.
We are
Happy-
so excited to have you here.
I am excited to be here. Happy
So,
to join you.
and we knew you loved coffee, so we
I
knew you were
do.
the perfect fit.
So much, and there's so much good coffee in Grand Rapids, just saying.
Yes, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Yeah, we got to make our rounds. So, Amy, you are in your beautiful interior design studio. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so my residential interior design studio is Refresh Design. We are located here in GR. We're a small team of women that specialize in residential custom homes and full home renovations. We work with builders, we work with architects, we work with homeowners and realtors even as you're getting into that home buying process to give you a little vision if you are looking at a fixer-upper, for instance. But yeah, that's this is us. This is where we are. We've been between the three of us. We've got over 20 years of experience in the design industry. So yeah, we love what we do. We love connecting with families and people.
Totally.
And you have lived, worked, and played in West Michigan for decades.
Mhm.
Tell us, before we dive more into making a house a home, tell us what your favorite thing about West Michigan is.
So the first thing that pops into my mind is what a great place it is for families. We love the environment here, that it's not only a great place to raise your kids, but it's also fun, and like there's things to do downtown. There's great coffee shops. There's great schools for your kids, but it's a great place. I always say, like, you're raising businesses and raising babies, right? Because my husband's an entrepreneur as well. So it's just like you guys. So we're raising both here, and it's such a great environment for that because it has the advantage of a smaller connected community, but other advantages of a big city. And I've got to throw in Lake Michigan because that's definitely one of my favorite things.
Right.
The proximity.
And yes, and we didn't make it clear when we did our premiere episode how far Lake Michigan is from the downtown Grand Rapids area. It's only about depending on traffic, of course, a 45-minute drive
Yeah,
to
not far.
the most gorgeous
The fresh
beaches
coast.
that you
Yep.
will ever see on the Fresh Coast. Yes.
Yep.
I think you hit the nail on the head, which brings us to a good point. I always think Lexi and Max are babies because
Yeah, they're teenagers.
They're teenagers now.
teenagers. And so you built this business while you were raising babies.
Exactly. Yeah, it was, I mean, really just catered to my lifestyle and has grown with myself. That was always the goal, starting with consulting and then branching out into larger projects as the kids got older, and now sky's the limit. So it's been really fun.
Oh, so tell us what makes Refresh Design stand out in the design world here in West Michigan.
Absolutely. Yeah, there are a lot of designers out there, and that's actually something I love because it's such a personal process. You're designing a custom home. It can be anywhere from 9 months to a year to 3 years, depending on what you're building. And for us, what we really love to do is not only relay, our design aesthetic or help you with the build or give you practical design advice, but we really come into it as active listeners and getting to know who you are. And one of my all-time favorite compliments that was ever paid to Refresh Design was that someone who knew the clients went into a finished home and they said it was like them. That, like, I could tell they lived here. This was so their personality.
You just gave me goosebumps.
Thank you. And if you look at any of our work, that's what you'll see. You'll see it's almost like the psychology behind what we do, because I'm a firm believer that your home is your support system, and often an untapped support system in your life. So we approach design in that way, which I find it's just holistic is the word that comes to my mind. Yes, you absolutely need beauty, you absolutely need practicality, but you also need it infused with who you are. We do a lot of forever homes, so you don't want to design according to HGTV or the latest this or that. You really want to infuse it with who you are. And so the other point I would say that we love to do is we are very practical. And I love telling people this because a lot of times when people meet a creative of any kind, and especially in the design industry, They think you're pie in the sky. You don't know what a budget is. Like you're going to go over and above, where we love to inspire and create and vision. However, we live in the real world with you, which is why builders love working with us, because we know the ins and outs of that process, where we can combine the vision with the practicality, because everybody has a budget, everyone has an upgrade or I don't want to spend the money here. And so we help people figure that out too, which is often one of the most overwhelming parts of the process.
That's awesome.
And one of the things that I truly admire about you is that you are a genius creative, and at the same time, your business sense is so tight. You have a very tight presentation that you give to your clients. A lot of times when people are so heavily creative, the details and the business side and the numbers kind of don't really fit into their strong suit, but you have such a nice balance of both. And that is so important, because it's not just about creating this epic HGTV, Chip and Joanna Gaines, whatever.
Right.
You've got to look at your budget. And that's what we are all about, is making sure to make smart investments, make a smart investment. So I love that you have the ability to marry both of those things. And
Well,
that's
it's also
really
making design approachable to anyone. There's really a budget for every project. And too many of us are like, oh, getting professional advice on that is just going to be way too expensive. No matter what it is in your life, where with you guys, it is, come to us and we'll put something together. Especially sometimes creativity is shown more when there's a budget, and I want to keep, these 6 pieces of furniture because it's either an heirloom or I spent a bunch of money on them, and let's work with these and come up with something. It's kind of fun to figure out, all right, how do all these fit together and make, an environment that is going to fit your family.
For sure.
Awesome.
And absolutely. And we're actually about to roll out a service related to that, because I mean, that is the thing. You think interior design, you often think custom home, high-end renovations. We're adding back in, kind of by popular demand, our design consultation services for people like, let's say you're moving to Grand Rapids, you're looking at 2 houses, you're thinking fixer-upper number 1 or fixer-upper number 2, or what makes sense. Like, we can come in and help you make those decisions, even when you're in the home buying process with the design consultation, to where like you're evaluating how long are you going to be here, all the things that you guys look at that you can bring into the process with that information up front, so you're making that right choice. But getting that design professional, like, is it really worth it to reno this kitchen? Is it not? I have so much fun at design consultations for that reason, whether it's, a fixed budget and you just want someone on, like the expert online is a good example of it, where you can come in and just give advice. Like, we will do that on a limited basis too. And it's just, there is something for everybody in the design world. And we have a lot of fun.
While you're having fun, someone is coming to you that is in almost like freak out mode because they can't figure this whole thing out. So having like a stable presence in that whole process is calming for a lot of people.
Yes. And as I told you, this time would fly by. So we have one more question for you, and we will put up Amy's contact information at the very end, so you'll be able to see that. But we promised, so our average viewer is a busy, time crunch professional woman. She maybe is a mom, maybe not, but she's juggling a lot. She's juggling a lot of schedules, and she's wearing a lot of hats. And so when you said that you design to really make a home a sanctuary, I can't remember the words that you actually used, but it was like a sanctuary. She needs that so badly.
Yes.
So what would your one piece of advice be for that woman to make a house a home?
What I love to do is a little unconventional, and I would say look at what your goals are and where you're headed. So, for example, if you are a independent business owner, let's say you have a creative Etsy business, or you're working part-time from home, where do you want to be, and how can your home support you in that? So in that instance, maybe that answer is you need a home office space that feels like you need that sanctuary to do your work, shut the door, leave, and go about your family business. Or maybe you have 5 kids and you have a newborn and your house is chaos and you need to just create a breathing space to start with for you. And maybe that's in your bedroom. Maybe it's a corner, it's a chair where you can meditate and you can kind of go out from there. So I like to take it, especially for women, because we don't think about this. What do you need most right now? And how can your home support you in that? And how can you find that in your home? And it could be something from kitchen organization. If you have healthy eating goals, but your kitchen is cluttered and it's full of things you shouldn't be eating, but maybe your family wants to eat some of them. It's organizing in that way. Like how can that support where you're headed? And it start with one thing and then move to the next thing, and keep it with that in mind, because it's such a good ROI. It's such a good return on investment when you think about your home supporting you in that way. It really can be a game changer.
Yeah.
So, and it was support. The word you used was support.
Yeah.
And that goes back to our first episode with Norina Kadili, who is the general manager of the JW Marriott. She said, you cannot pour from an empty cup, which is so true. And we've all heard it, but sometimes it's hard to remember to take care of ourselves sometimes. But what you're talking about is self-care.
You bet.
So how can you support yourself? Where can you go to recharge, to fill yourself up so you can go back out and give to the people, places, and things that you need to?
And talk about ROI, cleaning out the pantry just makes you feel good, and it's literally free.
Free.
So calculate that ROI. And it's just starting with things like that. That's really smart. Looking at stressors and pain points and then focusing on those. Sometimes people just it's everything. What's wrong? It's everything. Well, maybe it's not. Let's just identify one thing. And I love the fact that you said maybe just making a chair space where a mom can go in and just plunk down and breathe. Have a quiet moment.
I'll leave you with the easiest tip in the world. That's my favorite. It's a feng shui tip. Clean off your floor. Take things off your floor. If you have piles on your floor, it's an instant energetic uplift. Like if you really think it's everything, start with that. And you'll instantly feel better. 15 minutes. Put it on your timer.
Clean the floor up. Make it a game. Have the kids help.
So great. Let's pop Amy's contact information on the screen if we can, please. And I knew this would go by so fast, and such profound advice. I love it. And you've got great social media. You're always giving great tips.
Yes, we hang out on Instagram all the time. So shoot me a message.
Sounds great. Well, thank you so much for your time this morning, Amy, and your profound wisdom. I knew this would be amazing, and I knew it would go by so fast.
Right. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Until next time, plant good seeds.